If he was doing PEDs for real, he probably did get cross-contaminated because that stuff does happen. Because I'll tell you like this, he did not act like somebody that was on PEDs. If you're on PEDs, you wouldn't have been getting drunk every night. You would have been actually trying to win the fight. Ryan has Devin's number. If they fought 100 times, Ryan would knock him out 100 times. PEDs do not make you, it does not make your opponent not keep their hand up. PEDs will not make Devin Haney keep his hands down. That does not happen. If he was really on PEDs, if that was his whole intention, I'm going to be on steroids this whole fight, he would have actually took this fight serious, no? He got cross-contaminated. And it's clear as day he got cross-contaminated. To this day, he's still clueless of what happened. He doesn't even know.
My goodness, the good old PED Austrian argument that had to do with April 20th's WBC junior welterweight clash between Devin the Dream Haney and Ryan Garcia. Rolly Romero makes a pretty strong point that I want to give my take on, but also show you guys a little clip of Ryan Garcia's father just 2 days ago, bringing up the same subject and even saying that he's doing some deep diving and why he believes his son was set up by Devin Haney. And who else? R.I.P. Victor Conte. But before I show you guys that clip and we get into that, Rolly Romero just broke down his reason why he thinks Ryan Garcia wasn't on PEDs on purpose. All strain was in his body. We know that for a fact. But the boxing world is split whether or not it was due to cross-contamination or Ryan Garcia was being a drug cheat and trying to do it on purpose. Now, if you don't remember, April 20th, this is when they fought. Ryan Garcia, leading up to that fight, was acting the most craziest that he's ever acted. Drinking, smoking, doing drugs. You know, he said he was getting robbed. You know, the people took away his phone and was posting these subliminal messages. He says that they took him to a forest and he was watching, you know, people die. A lot of crazy things was going down with Ryan Garcia. And, you know, we've even heard about one of these occasions where he got drunk a couple days before the fight with Steiny from Knock Bros. They were explaining in a podcast with both of them how they were getting drunk and how they were laughing at each other saying, bro, I got to fight in a couple days, this and that. Ryan Garcia was not a guy who was training like he was on PEDs or on steroids or whatever you want to call it, SARM. Austrain. Rolly Romero says this dude doesn't look like he was on PEDs or, you know, doing these drugs. The way that he was acting, that's not what somebody who's on PED does. That's not what somebody does who's on steroids.
If he was doing PEDs for real, he probably did get cross-contaminated because that stuff does happen. Because I'll tell you like this, he did not act like somebody that was on PEDs. If you're on PEDs, you wouldn't have been getting drunk every night. You would have been actually trying to win the fight. Ryan has Devin's number. If they fought 100 times, Ryan would knock him out 100 times.
And then listen to what Ryan Garcia's dad says about this.
Don't come out with this, you know, juicing and all that or ostering. In fact, that I'm going to get to the bottom of it because I personally think that Ryan was set up. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I feel he was set up, because Ryan was totally negative throughout the whole camp, completely negative. Why? After the fight, all of a sudden he's positive for something small, but yet he's positive. And I'm starting to think that the embarrassment that the Haneys had and the connection he had with, rest in peace, Victor Conte, I think there was something there, something behind it. They had to cover up that embarrassment.
Yup. Bringing back the old good old conspiracy theory that was surrounded by Devin the Dream Haney ever since he was working with Snack and Victor Conte. it ain't ever gonna leave anybody's thoughts, man. The possibility of, you know, of anything of that possibly taking place, of Devin Haney being butthurt, you know, and embarrassed that they lost the fight. You know, there's rumors of him losing fights in Mexico. He has turned down these rumors, but there are rumors of him losing fights in Mexico where he started his professional career back in the days. I believe he started his professional career at just 17 years old. Rumors that he lost. He's lost before in Mexico, but ended up paying people off to get that erased. If you haven't heard that conspiracy theory, go look it up. It's a true one. And then we hear Ryan Garcia's dad bring up this theory about, you know, him and Victor Conte possibly doing something to be able to, you know, make Ryan Garcia fail a drug test. That way the fight would be overturned to a no contest. My goodness, man. My goodness, you know, this is a very sensitive subject that a lot of people have different takes on. I'm going to stay out of this one today. I want to see what Ryan Garcia's dad is going to build up. You know, if they can show me anything that I haven't seen before. I left this subject behind me. Been in many, many arguments about it. And at this point, I'm pretty much done with it because we see what's going down right now in the sport of boxing. Ryan Garcia is the current WBC welterweight champion of the world. Devin the Dream Haney is the current WBO welterweight champion of the world. Both men are taking drug tests. Ryan Garcia was taking drug tests going up in the fight against Mario Barrios, is a clean fighter now. Failed once in his career for Austrain. That's behind him now. But I know there's a lot of boxing fans out there that, you know, can't leave this subject alone and won't leave it alone because they're either out to get Ryan Garcia and belittle him or defend Devin the Dream Haney. Defend him to the max. You know, at the end of the day, he was in his system and he did miss weight. The whole missing weight thing, in my opinion, you know, there's people like Joe Rogan who would argue Austrain really isn't doing nothing. That the reason why Devin the Dream Haney got knocked out was because he put his hands down. Don't forget about that back and forth that he had with Shakur Stevenson. You know, he was saying that to him, Austrain ain't even a PED. Come on. And he was even trying to make Shakur Stevenson seem like a little kid, like he don't know what he's talking about. At the end of the day, I'm a goddamn boxing content YouTube creator, all right? I cover the sport of boxing. I don't cover the sport of PEDs, drugs, Austrain, and, you know, I stopped taking science when I was a junior in goddamn high school, my friends. That whatever type of scientific stuff this is, leave me out of it. That's the reason why I tend to stay out of this topic, because at the end of the day, you need to speak to a scientist to really understand. And I've heard, you know, sports scientists, you know, involved with these drugs, drug scientists talk about this subject and the subject of Austrain. So you can believe whatever you want, man. But let me know what you guys think. Are they onto something here, dude? Is Ryan Garcia truthfully, never knew what went happen? Cross-contamination by accident? Or was this a setup by Bill Haney, Devin Haney, and Victor Conte? My goodness, man. Let me know what you guys think, though. This is the MMA Boxing Addict channel reporting to you.